Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. Bill, what we're talking about today, we talked about it in the past, but it seems like it's getting a little worse.
Uh-oh.
The mass exodus of Florida. So let's put everything in perspective, okay?
Okay.
There's people, let me read something, okay? That you guys, that the domestic migration between April 2020 and July 2022, Florida gained approximately 818,762 residents from the United States. That's averaging about 409,381 per year. That's domestically. Okay?
Okay.
International migration into Florida in 2023, nearly 45% of approximately 634,000 new Floridians that moved here from abroad, equating to about 285,300 international migrants. So you're talking about a lot of people are moving to Florida.
That's a lot of people. Yep.
From outside this country.
Right.
Okay, so we still have migration, but so basically, but we're also losing migration. Okay, while Florida still continues to attract new residents, it's also experiencing migration. Okay, out migration. In 2022, the state lost residents to 14 states, including the District of Columbia. Here's the largest outflow where people are going from Florida. Georgia, 11,390 people moved to Georgia.
From Florida to Georgia?
From Florida to Georgia.
Okay. North
Carolina, 10,319 people left Florida for North Carolina. And Tennessee, 4,667 people moved from Florida just in that short period of time. So what is happening, and I've been talking to a lot of people, because I know a lot of people that are leaving the States. They're just had it. I don't know if it's hurricanes, humidity, but we'll go down a list. And but a lot of these people are halfbacks. What is a halfback? A halfback is somebody coming from the Northeast, Colorado, someplace in a colder climate. They're coming down to Florida, realizing Florida is not for them.
Right.
Okay, but they don't want to move back, so they move halfway back to like North Carolina.
Okay. So it's a little cooler seasons, more seasons than what we have here in the Tampa Bay area. Yeah, and it's more kind of like humidity is a little bit less and for the longer period of time. So yeah, I get that.
And you could be one of these people that are going, if you're living in Florida right now, you know, a lot of retirees are retiring in Florida, and then after they're retired here for a little bit, they're like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to Tennessee or something.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine it would be hard. You come here and you vacation, and you've brought this up before. You have that mentality, and it's easy to do because I do it to places that I've been on vacation. So I can totally see how this would happen, that it's not a vacation when you move here because now you're living here. So you're like, oh, I can put up with this. And then when you're here every single day, it's not so easy.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. So we're going to go over why is everybody leaving here. So it's really important, if you're thinking about moving to Florida, listen to the people that are actually leaving Florida and the reasons why. It's so big that there's a Facebook page with thousands of people. It's saying people moving out of Florida. If you want to go to Facebook and search that, it'll say they have a whole group, and I went through that group. I'm actually part of the group, so I could see why everybody's leaving. They posted. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, consider subscribing. It takes a second. It's very motivational for us. Give it a thumbs up and share. One of the biggest reasons going through that Facebook group, talking to people, is the rising cost of Florida, okay?
Okay.
Housing insurance, car insurance. It's just stupid. People just can't afford it. Like me, I love Florida, but when I left New York, New Hampshire, I came down here. One of the reasons was to save money. Okay, those days are over with.
Depending on where you're coming from, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's expensive. Some people say to me like, "Oh, but you don't have an income tax."
Oh, it's made up in other ways. Trust me.
It's made up of, we have a sales tax. Trust me, the car insurance, and I say this over and over again, the car insurance is so high in Florida that people don't go, oh, my car insurance is $3,000 a year. They're like, oh, my car insurance payment is $600 a month. They go by payments. That's how high it is.
But it's always been that way in Florida.
Has it?
Yes.
Because when I first moved here and up to now, I was just like, okay, I was renewing my insurance and I switched insurance companies and they're like, hey, what is it for a year? They're like, oh, we don't do a year. I'm like, why don't you do it for a year?
6 months.
I said, I just want to deal with it for a year. Tell me the price for a year. It's like, no, we can't do that.
Yes.
So they have a chance in 6 months to see what's going on in Florida so they could raise it. So that's it. It just cost. People just can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, if you're moving to Florida because you think it's going to be cheaper, that's probably not the best reason. That shouldn't be the predominant or only reason, realistically.
This one, it was in the groups. It's mentioned all the time in articles. Okay, I'm not saying I agree with it. Okay, but we have to talk about it. Okay. We can't just shove it to the side. Okay.
All right.
And you born, raised in Florida. So here's what a lot of people are saying. They're moving to Florida because they're concerned about climate change. Rising sea levels, flood risk, increased frequency of severe storms have made some areas less desirable. So, like some people are saying, Miami is going to be underwater in 5 or 10 years. I heard that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I heard that in elementary school.
All right, but
Florida should have been underwater by now at the rate, and that was said in the 80s. That was a big thing. Yeah, I get it. I don't agree with the whole, I'm not going to argue the merits of whether.
But do you think
sea levels raising?
You think climate change is a concern to move out? Like some people, they told me, I bought some waterfront properties, and they're like, why are you buying waterfront properties? It's going to be underwater. And I'm like, there's so many investors, and especially in Miami, places that they said that why would they be investing millions of dollars if it's going to be underwater in 5 years?
Right. That doesn't make sense.
It
doesn't make sense. I mean, and why would you just pick Miami? It's that just that one spot is the same. We're all at sea level, so it'd have to be everybody: Mexico, Texas, Florida.
This one I agree with. Hurricane risks. Okay, the hurricanes were bad this year. Okay, and a lot of people got scared. They moved here, never dealt with a hurricane, lost their house, to flooding last year, and now this year they got flooded again. That could be enough for me to say maybe not moving out of Florida, but a lot of people are moving out of Florida. They don't want to deal with the hurricane season every year. I know 4 people, it was 3 people, I just found out yesterday, a 4th person, family, they don't want to deal with hurricanes anymore. So they're actually moving to Tennessee. I still think they would have to deal with hurricane storms in Tennessee.
Yeah,
flooding.
So, most likely I would imagine there'd be flooding up there. Look at the way the storm tracks go. They usually come in and they make a hook. They don't necessarily directly impact the Tampa Bay area here, but they'll go up into the Panhandle a lot, especially if they come across Miami and make the turn. Cut around Cuba and they make the turn and they go up towards the Panhandle. So I would imagine Tennessee, depending on where you're at in Tennessee, Georgia, you're going to feel some effects from it. Not like you're getting hit where, we can see the water across the street here 200 feet away or so. You're not on the coast necessarily, but you could still feel some effects, particularly rain, so you might get the flooding.
Yeah. Here's a reason why a lot of people are moving from Florida, and me personally, I can probably agree with this one 100% because I don't like it either. Overcrowding. This place is getting packed.
Yeah, but that's just going to be anywhere you go.
It is getting worse.
Run away. You can't run away from that. I'm sorry.
I moved to Pasco because of the farmland and stuff. But now what's happening? It's developments. The crowds. I left Pinellas County to go to Pasco, and now Pasco is turning into what Pinellas was.
Right, but that's you can't. You're going to have to move a lot, in my opinion, to stay away from that, depending on where you go. If you go to some small town that's extremely rural, you might not be in Florida. You might have to go somewhere else that's got a little bit wider of a state, to get away. But, it's just the way it is. Everybody, we're growing, and the developments are continuing, and people are still moving here. There's more in than out, and in general, and it's just, they got to have somewhere to go. There's new communities coming in Orlando, and Pasco, Hernando counties are starting to get closer and closer together with developments every year.
Here's another reason. One of the bigger reasons is affordability crisis. People just can't afford to buy houses here.
Definitely not on the coast. You can't.
No, not on the coast, but there's some homes. I actually get some listings. I went to Georgia to look for a secondary home 2 years ago, but I still get the updates from it. Some homes up there are still 140, 150,000. 160,000.
So, but I would ask you where you're looking at in those homes that are like 150-ish thousand. What's the income level there? Like the average income level, so that you can compare an apple to an apple.
Well, yeah, it's lower, but a lot of retirees, if you're retiring and you're on a fixed income,
that's different.
That's different.
That's a different animal. You're talking because you've now got to live on a fixed income, so you got to go somewhere and buy something. But if you're saying that we're going to stay here in the Tampa Bay or Florida area, because we're talking about Florida here, where can you're getting priced out, but hopefully you own your home before you retire.
Well, before we even started recording this, you were talking about, wouldn't it be cool to have a really cool remote job that you could just travel and go anywhere, okay?
Yeah, I want to try to be like, what are the 20-somethings?
Yeah, so, okay, let's say you do that and you're making good money. Would you move to a place like that has the houses are 150, 200,000? You're still making the same money.
I don't know. It depends on where it is. I don't want to live in a rural area. I have no desire to live in a rural area.
But do you agree a lot of people are leaving Florida because of affordability crisis? They just can't afford to buy it.
I think some people are leaving Florida because of an affordability crisis. What I would say is that Floridians, meaning people who were born and raised here, are probably worse off simply because, when we shook the globe, if you will, and the money moved everywhere because of remote work and people started coming down here and Florida became this big boom. We haven't recovered from that 40 to 50% increase in, property values. That's going to take a while because our salaries can't go up that fast here.
I agree. Some people are saying they're moving out just because of political climate. So, and I think that's stupid because that changes all the time.
Right.
Like right now, yes, Florida leans red, okay? But 5 years from now, it might be leaning blue or independent. So I think basing on I'm not going to live in the state because it's a Republican state or leaning red, I don't agree with the politics. I think it's a little excessive because it's such a fluent situation that it might be leaning red now. It wasn't always red. Mm-hmm. It was blue for a long time.
Right.
And then it was a toss-up, and then it's red.
Right.
And then it'll be blue again,
Yeah, it's
I don't think,
that's not a good
my
reason to
opinion.
move.
Comment below. Tell us what you think. Would you move out of state because of political, affiliations? Some people are saying that they're moving out just because of tourism fatigue. They're just tired of being in the... And I'm like, don't go to a tourist area. Don't go to Tarpon Springs. Don't go to Dunedin. Don't go to Safety Harbor, where a lot of tourists go. Clearwater Beach. Don't go there. But
yeah,
I can name you, and I was surprised people were talking about it. I can name you 100 places that, trust me, no tourists go there.
Yeah, that doesn't make, I don't understand that one. Orlando, I would understand. Kissimmee, I could probably understand. And then just like you mentioned the ones here, but that doesn't make sense. Just don't, is it the traffic? Is it the traffic that's bothering you? I mean, we get that just because we got a lot of snowbirds too. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I literally went onto the Facebook group and I just wrote down what the people were saying, but not just if one person saying it. I had to find 5 people that said it.
Right. I don't know. Growing up here, I don't think I would. We're in the Tampa Bay area is not necessarily a tourist town per se. We have some tourism, but I don't think we're like this major destination comparing to like an Orlando Disney area.
Okay, another reason why people are moving out of Florida is income inequality. So basically the gap evident between luxury developments along struggling communities. So what's happening is, what do you call that when an area gets redone, gets destroyed? Like you're saying, it's going to go through
it goes through gentrification.
Gentrification. So that's been happening a lot. It happened to Dunedin, you said?
Oh yeah. There was a lot of areas in Dunedin because it was the city itself over the last 20 plus years has done a fantastic job revitalizing Dunedin because it was not that way. But could you
explain to the watchers, what it actually means?
So gentrification just means that, developers come in, and I'm not saying like they knock everything down, but development begins to happen to stimulate the economy in a specific area. Some of that is taking some of the older houses that are, that can't be renovated. Some of them get renovated, some of them get knocked down, some of the land gets subdivided. So we have plenty of property around here that, like, it's a big lot and it has 2 houses on it, and then they can take that and maybe put 4 houses on it. And that's basically what gentrification is. And then they bring in industry and malls and stores and things like that to kind of revitalize a specific area.
5 people mentioned this one, lack of affordable healthcare. I don't understand that one, because healthcare is the same everywhere in the country, isn't it? I don't know, I'm not a healthcare person, but is it cheaper in some other states?
I have not heard that. I would imagine healthcare is cheaper in certain areas, because from my understanding, it does go off of your income. But I don't know that it's more or less expensive in Florida. I know we have a lot of healthcare here. I don't know.
I don't understand that. And this one, education system concerns. I like Florida, every state has bad schools and good schools.
Right.
But I know a few schools, that are very good.
Yeah, I don't know that education is a
reason to move out of Florida.
I don't know. I mean, because we do have a lot of good schools. Is there anywhere in the country that's perfect? If there is, let me know. I'm curious. Or maybe you don't want to let me know because you don't want to let the cat out of the bag, if you will. But speaking on education, I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, comment below if you guys think some states have better education than others. So environmental degradation, like red tide, algae blooms, water pollution, affecting livelihoods. Some people are like, hey, you know what? That's been around for a long time. And just during this hurricane, the water got so stirred up, it was disgusting, but now it's starting to clear up. So
yeah, I don't know. That's Mother Nature, and that's just part of life on the coast.
Yeah, some other person wrote, I had to write this one down, retiree overpopulation. The influx of retirees create a demographic imbalance, reducing opportunities for younger families. That I don't agree with.
Yeah,
that is no reason, because more and more young people are moving here.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
I don't agree with that one.
I think we have a smaller elderly population than we've had in the past. There's no numbers on that. I'd be curious, but yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that one.
I don't agree with that one. How about this one? People saying urban sprawl, unchecked development has led to loss of green spaces, longer commutes, frustrated some residents that want to leave. Like they go to a place like a farm and that's being developed, but they're leaving the state.
That's progress. Eventually.
Look at my backyard. I moved there for a farm, and maybe in a few years it's going to be like a big
it was a field when I grew up here.
Yeah,
like there weren't houses there. Your house wasn't there. Your development there was nothing there. We didn't even have the community next to yours, which is Eastlake.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even have a high school. We went to a competition. In 1991, I believe, is when that school opened, and it was one dirt road.
All right, a lot of people are saying they're leaving Florida because of the job market.
I could probably see that.
Yeah, but I think more and more jobs are moving in here.
Yeah, but I mean, are they moving back because their remote job is no longer remote?
I'm going to tell everybody why I think most people move out of the state. They won't admit it, but I'll tell you why. Wait till the end of this video. Tax concerns. Despite no income tax, property taxes are increasing dramatically. Property taxes are pretty high in Florida. If you're buying a $500,000 house, you're paying $7-8 grand a year.
I guess it's all what you get used to.
Yeah, I guess so too. This is a big one, why a lot of people move out of Florida. This is, heat and humidity. I think this is the number 2 reasons why people, number 2 reasons why people move out of here is they come down here. Some of them miss the 4 seasons, but some of them it's just too freaking hot. Like right now, it's great for us. That's why we're doing these videos outside. It's like perfect weather. It's like 78 degrees and
it's nice.
It's beautiful. But, heat and humidity, okay? But here's why I think the biggest reason is, okay? Mm-hmm. And I go through, I wrote down another 10 what they were saying why they're leaving Florida. Most people are leaving Florida that I spoke to because of family. They miss family.
It's a very valid reason.
They have grandkids. They want to go, they're older now. They want to move back where their kids are and be near their grandkids. I hear that over and over again. Even when I do inspections.
Yeah.
And the seller's there, and I say, why are you moving back to Ohio or, Here, it's like we miss our grandkids and we want to be closer to our kids.
Or their kids have now gotten to the age where they're established and they have kids and they've lived, you know, maybe the parent have lived here for a long time. I've heard a couple of these. And they're like, oh, my kids are having grandbabies. It's time to go home.
That is the biggest reason why.
That's a valid reason.
That's the biggest reason why I think people are leaving Florida. Hey, do me a favor. Consider subscribing like I asked before. And it's really motivational and we're working on a project. We don't want you to miss it. Thumbs up. Watch this video right here. Okay, I picked it out just for you guys. I know I say that on every video, but I do. I go through the videos and I'm like, all right, this is going to be a good one for people and check it out. And we'll catch you on the next video. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye.